Hello, English learners, and welcome back to English Podcast Rise, your daily dose of real English conversations to help you speak English fluently and confidently. This podcast is your space to enjoy English speaking practice for beginners and intermediate learners. I'm James.
And I'm Catherine. In today's episode, we're taking you on a journey, a long, deep conversation about traveling to the United States of America. If you're trying to learn English through listening, this is for you. We'll talk about travel tips, preparing documents, airport experiences, American culture, and so much more.
All while speaking naturally using real-life English that you can use every day.
Remember, the best way to improve your English speaking skills is by listening and repeating. So relax, grab your notebook or coffee, and enjoy the conversation.
So, Catherine, let's imagine you're planning your first trip to the U.S. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Honestly, the visa. Before booking anything, you need to check if you need a visa, how long it takes, and what documents are required. It's a crucial step when you're traveling abroad.
Exactly. When I applied for my U.S. visa, it was actually more complicated than I expected. I had to fill out the DS-160 form online. It took me about an hour because they ask for everything. Travel history, addresses, even where you'll stay in the U.S.
Oh yes, I remember gathering all my documents, bank statements, proof of employment, the invitation letter from my cousin in Chicago. I even printed out my hotel reservations and return flight ticket. I didn't want to take any risks.
Did you do the interview at the embassy?
Yes, in Casablanca. I had to wait outside for like 45 minutes before they let us in. Then there was a security check, and finally the interview. The officer was very professional, but also direct. She asked, "Why do you want to go to the United States? How long will you stay? Do you have any relatives there?" I was so nervous, but I had practiced all those answers beforehand. In English, just like we do on this podcast.
Good move. I did the same. I stood in front of the mirror and practiced saying, I'm visiting the U.S. for tourism. I'll be staying for 2 weeks in New York and Washington, D.C. I have a stable job, and I'll return home after the trip. It really helps when you're prepared. The officer stamped my passport and said, "Your visa is approved." I almost shouted from happiness.
I know that feeling. Mine was approved too, a 10-year visa. I was shocked.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's fast forward a bit. The day of your flight, how was it?
Stressful. I arrived at the airport 3 hours early. I double-checked everything. Passport, visa, boarding pass, COVID certificate back then. And of course, I had printed copies of everything just in case.
And at the check-in counter, they asked for my visa and return ticket. After that, security was tight. They even asked me to remove my shoes.
Oh, and don't forget the liquids rule. I had a small bottle of lotion, and they took it. I forgot it had to be under 100 milliliters. Then I waited at the gate and kept looking at the screen, afraid of missing the flight.
What about the flight itself?
It was long, 9 hours, but actually comfortable. I watched 3 movies and listened to a few English podcasts, trying to get used to the American accent. I also practiced in my head what I'd say at immigration.
That's smart. I did something similar. I even wrote down a few phrases in my notebook. I'm here for tourism. I'm staying at the Holiday Inn in downtown Manhattan. I have a return flight on June 5th. When I landed, I was exhausted but excited.
Me too. When we landed, people clapped on the plane. It was funny. Then we went through immigration, and that's when the nerves kicked in again.
Did they ask you many questions?
Not too many, but they were serious. The officer said, "How long will you stay? What's your purpose of visit? Do you have travel insurance?" I answered calmly, and he just said, "Enjoy your stay." That's when I finally relaxed.
That moment when you know you made it. For me, the officer was friendly, but he did check my documents carefully. I think they just want to make sure everything is clear.
Then came the luggage. I waited 30 minutes. After that, I stepped outside and took my first breath of American air. I still remember the smell of coffee and car fumes at JFK Airport.
And the size of the airport, everything felt big. The signs, the parking lots, even the people. I grabbed a yellow cab, just like in the movies, and the driver said, "Welcome to New York." I smiled and thought, wow, this is real.
That moment, unforgettable. I was tired, jet lagged, but so happy. And now every time I think about it, I just want to go back.
Travel is the best English teacher. You live the language, you use it to survive, to ask for help, to order food, to meet people. And if you stay long enough, or if you're on a working visa, you also get to use English in professional situations, at work, in meetings, with coworkers. That's a whole different level of English.
Definitely. I actually had a summer job in Boston 2 years ago. I worked at a small cafe near Harvard Square. It was part of a student exchange program.
That's amazing. So you were working with Americans?
Yes, and that really pushed my English. I had to take orders quickly, understand different accents, answer customer questions, and deal with complaints, all in real time English. And working in America taught me another side of the culture: professionalism, time management, teamwork. They really value punctuality and clear communication.
That's so true. Americans often start meetings on time, even if only two people are present, no waiting around. It's part of their efficiency culture. How long did you end up staying in Boston?
Well, my original plan was just a summer, around 3 months. But something interesting happened. After 2 months of working at the cafe, the owner offered me a more permanent position. She said I was reliable, polite with customers, and always willing to help, even during busy shifts.
Wow, that says a lot about your work ethic.
Thank you. I was honestly surprised. I thought, why would they want me to stay longer? But she told me it was rare to find someone who not only works well, but also communicates clearly in English, even as a non native speaker. That gave me a lot of confidence.
That's a big moment. So, how did you manage to stay longer? Did you change your visa?
Yes, I did. The cafe worked with an immigration lawyer to help me switch from a J1 student visa to an H2B work visa. It wasn't easy. There were a lot of forms and conditions. But because the cafe was a registered business and they had a legal reason to sponsor me, I was eligible.
That must have been a lot of paperwork.
It was. I had to submit proof of employment, letters of recommendation, pay slips, tax forms, and even a letter explaining why I wanted to stay. But again, clear communication and being respectful helped a lot. Every time I met someone from the embassy or immigration, I made sure to be polite, confident, and honest.
That's powerful. A lot of people think it's just about luck, but really it's about being prepared, respectful, and showing that you're serious.
Exactly. And you know what surprised me the most? How kind people were. As an immigrant, and especially with a different accent, I was worried I'd be judged. But instead, I found most people were curious, friendly, and supportive.
That's great to hear. Did anyone ever make you feel uncomfortable?
Only once or twice, but nothing serious. One customer made a joke about my accent, but the manager immediately stepped in and said, "We're proud to have an international team. Let's keep it respectful." I really appreciated that.
That's a strong example of support. And I think that kind of positive workplace environment makes a big difference.
It does. And outside work, too. People helped me with directions, invited me to community events, even taught me local expressions. I started feeling like I belonged, like I was part of something.
That's beautiful. And how long did you end up staying in the US?
Well, what started as a 3 month trip turned into almost 2 years. After working full time for 1 year, I applied for an extension. Then I took evening classes at a local college to improve my business English. Eventually, I was eligible to apply for a green card based on employment. And I got it.
That's incredible. So, your good behavior, strong work ethic, and communication skills helped you build a future in America.
Yes. I know it's not easy for everyone, but if I could give one message to anyone listening, your attitude matters. The way you speak, behave, help others, and learn every day, that's what opens doors. Language is just one part. Kindness, discipline, and curiosity, they go a long way.
I love that. And that's why we say this podcast is not just for grammar or vocabulary, it's for real English conversations that help you grow personally and professionally.
Exactly. And if you're listening and dreaming of working or living in the US, start with small steps. Practice daily, listen, speak, improve. Use episodes like this to build confidence. Because one day, you'll need to introduce yourself at work, explain something to your manager, or answer questions in an interview, and you'll be ready.
And if you're still listening right now, you're not like everyone else. You're special.
Yes, if you reach this point, it means you have real passion and dedication. You're going to learn fast because you're consistent. Write the word special in the comments. It means special, and we'll choose some of you to join our private English practice group.
It's our way of saying thank you. We see your effort and we believe in you.
Keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode of English Podcast Rise. Keep going, you're doing great.